So how did I become a professional tarot reader? How did I end up here? I thought I would just share with you guys my story and my background, my journey, the lessons that I've learned along the way, and just what kind of led me to tarot and how I make tarot a successful business. Um, so when I first got my first tarot deck, I was a teenager and I found it very confusing. I didn't know how to read the cards and it just seemed very difficult. And when I did readings for myself, they didn't really make sense. And I didn't honestly take it very seriously. I was a skeptic. I didn't understand how these cards could be so powerful. I didn't understand how they could predict the future or facilitate spiritual healing. I honestly was a skeptic and I didn't take tarot reading very seriously. And that went on for many years. I think I put the cards away and went on with my own life. And then I had a situation, which I'll share the story for another day, but I had a situation in which I gave a tarot reading to somebody and it turned out to be very accurate, very, very accurate, and in a shocking way, in a way that I couldn't contend with. It shook me to my core how accurate it was, because I always wrote my readings down to kind of look at them later in the future and chuckle and find it interesting. But there was this one reading in particular that shook me to my core with its accuracy, and that completely changed the way that I view and I saw tarot. And it kind of gave me like a spiritual awakening. And it opened so many doors that I didn't even think were possible because of that. And so then I started to say, okay, this is a craft. This is a connection to our intuition, to our psychic abilities, to our subconscious, whatever you want to call it. There is something here that is more than what looks like on the surface. And so I started reading for people. I started reading for my friends and my family. And the first time I had like my first public reading event, I was at a Halloween party in college and I dressed up as like a witchy tarot reader and I started giving readings for people. And what started out initially as something fun and interesting really became like a curious fascination for me, because it wasn't just the readings, but it was the emotional transformation that I would see people go through during a reading. People would have intense emotional breakthroughs and intense emotional reactions just from us looking at cards and artwork and talking about archetypes. And I I was amazed. I was amazed that I could be witness to watching people transform their lives in what honestly was just like a deck of cards and artwork. And I thought that it was really fascinating. I mainly really got into tarot because of humans, because humans are so interesting. And tarot opened people up in a way that I had never seen before. Tarot healed people in a way that I didn't even think was possible. People that had been in therapy for issues for years and they come down for a tarot session and they're transformed. That stuff looked like miracles to me. That looked like, it's indescribable. When you give tarot readings for people and it changes their life, you're just left with your jaw on the floor. And so as I gave more and more readings, I got more and more encouraged because of the reactions and the feedback and the responses that I would get from people. And, I wouldn't read tarot if I didn't genuinely believe that it helped people. I tell this all the time, I say this all the time, but tarot is not a religion. Like, I'm not here as an evangelist telling people what to believe. I'm just sharing my real life personal experiences. And if tarot stopped working tomorrow, I would stop reading tarot tomorrow. I only read tarot because I see that it works. because that I see on a daily basis with my clients that it changes lives, that it spiritually heals people, that it gives people clarity, peace of mind, advice, insight, anything and everything. Like, it is not something that I have ever encountered before. And I don't quite exactly know how it works. I don't really know exactly the power or the transformation that's happening. So I can't really definitely tell you that I know what's going on in the minds and the hearts of these people that I'm reading for. But I do know the results. I do know that after a reading, I see people are healed. I see people are changed. And because it's such a positive experience for people, that motivated me to do it more, to offer my services more and more. If, like I said, if I started to read for people, especially in the beginning, and it wasn't a positive experience, if it hadn't been positive, if it hadn't been transformative, then I would have stopped. I wouldn't have continued. But it just kept on getting more powerful. And yeah, it got to the point where I genuinely, to this day, I feel honored and privileged to read for people, because it's such a special experience, not just for them, but for me as well, to be witness to something that is so transcendent, that is something so ethereal. I can't even describe it. So when I started reading for my friends in college and I started reading at events, then I kind of thought, well, maybe let me like go to festivals and kind of read for people in real life, read for strangers, not just my friends and associates in college. So the first couple of times I went to festivals, I had a rough go of things. It took me a little while to figure out how to work out reading tarot in a public setting. And I'll probably make another video about all the lessons that I've learned about how to maximize your time at a festival or at an event. But basically, with my method, I would book like 50 or 60 clients in a weekend of doing a festival, and they would book with me a private session. And then I started reading for strangers that I knew nothing about. All I knew that was their first name, and I didn't know anything about their life. And yet somehow every tarot reading would be accurate, or when I'd sit down to read for them, they would have a positive experience. And just the frequency and the intensity of that encouraged me to keep on reading for people. And I had like an art business on social media, and I had sold my art online, and I really did not like the way that social media takes advantage of creators and small businesses. I didn't want to go online and advertise about being a tarot reader. I didn't want to be on social media. I thought that the social media was very toxic and ultimately counterproductive. And I wanted to build my tarot business the old school way. So before social media, before the internet, you would basically find a tarot reader and you would stay with them like you would find a hairdresser or, a healer. You would find a tarot reader that resonated with you, that matched with you, and then you would stay with them for the rest of your life. You would go to that one person. And so instead of, a tarot reader having thousands of followers or thousands of clients, the old school method is you just have a small core of base clientele that are very loyal to you, that get repeat readings from you, and you build up your business not with thousands of followers, but just with a small handful, select tribe of people that really love you and they love the service and they love your reading. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to find a small group of people that I could read to for years. And I didn't have to go online. I didn't have to make an Instagram. I didn't have to make a TikTok or an Etsy account. And I found this method way more rewarding, and finding clients that I could build relationships with over the years was way better for me than trying to advertise on social media. And so what I did over the years, I did a lot of festivals, I did a lot of events, and I met with people in person. One summer, I loaded up my car with my art and my crafts, and I drove across America, and I went to different festivals and different events, and I advertised my tarot services all across America. And that summer, my business just exploded. I had so many clients, and clients that I had met in person, people that we had that one-on-one human connection with. And then I got to build a relationship with them over time. And so now where I am today is I have a self-sustainable business. I have a core base group of clients who get readings from me on a regular basis. Some of them it's like once a year on their birthday. Other people it's once a month or once every couple of months. It varies. But I'm pretty much fully booked through the entire year. And then my new clients come typically by word of mouth. Typically, my regular clients will recommend me to somebody, and that's how I get new clients. But I don't need new clients. I certainly get them, and I love them, and I appreciate them. But it's nice not to have to feel like you have to. Not to feel like you have to be constantly marketing or chasing or advertising, because I feel like I just want to focus on giving readings. I just want to help people. I don't want to deal with setting up an Instagram account and doing all this crazy stuff. I just want to be a tarot reader. I don't want to be an influencer. And I liked that. That's a method that works for me. And meeting people in real life, reading for people, and building relationships over the years is a very special experience. Like, I feel like it's a privilege. And I am so encouraged to continue what I am doing because the clients that I read for like my services. They like tarot. They think it helps them. It helps their life, spiritual healing. For those group of people, and tarot is not for everyone, but for those group of people that I read for, they come back to me year after year, and now I have a sustainable practice, and now I consider myself a professional tarot reader because, I use this to pay my bills. But it wasn't always like that, and it wasn't like I set out intentionally to build a tarot business. It just kind of naturally grew. And I think because of the cycle of positive reinforcement that I got, where I would give readings and then people would respond so positively to that, I just was like, well, I'll give more readings. And okay. And so it wasn't like an intentional thing. It just kind of evolved on its own. And then people started wanting to book with me and schedule with me regularly. And then I got a calendar, and now I am where I am today. And I've been doing this for a long enough time that I feel like I have some experience, some advice that I can contribute to the tarot community. And that's why I decided to make this YouTube channel, because I find most of the information on the internet about tarot is very, how can I say this? Very disappointing. Some of it is like a lot of commercialism, like buy this deck and buy this course and buy this thing, and it's all about buying this candle and this crystal and going to this like spiritual retreat to a castle in Germany for $5,000. It's like there's a lot of commercialization that I see online and not enough actual real life experience. And then there's a lot of people that are scammers who don't have a lot of experience, who are just pulling cards to get likes and views, and I'm not really interested in that either. And I want to know about people's practice. I want to know about the people who actually have a tarot business, not people who want to sell me tarot commercial products. Like, I want to know why do you do tarot? Why does tarot help people, and how? Because that's my experience, and that's what I feel like I can contribute to the internet space. I don't know how many videos I'm gonna make. I'm just gonna ramble on about my experience, and then when I'm done making videos, I'll be done making videos. But my purpose here is not to be an influencer. It's to share my journey, to share my path, because I want there to be a next generation of tarot readers. I personally have seen tarot heal people and help people. And even though I've only read for a small number of the population, right? Even though I have read for thousands of people over the years, but that's not the whole planet. There's a lot of people that I've never read for. We need tarot readers. We need healers. We need people who offer this service in the world. And whether you're just starting to read or you're just getting on your journey, you don't know how to become a professional tarot reader. I certainly didn't. But I genuinely believe that this is a practice that helps people. And I hate how it's like shrouded in taboo, and it's so like woo-woo and commercialized and stigmatized. Like, it shouldn't be. If people could see what I see, if people could see how tarot impacts people's lives like I have, they would be like encouraging everybody to get a tarot reading. But I know tarot is not for everybody, okay? Like, this is not a path for everybody to take. But for the people who I have helped, for the clients that I've connected with, it has been an honor to witness it. And I think that is kind of how I got into tarot reading and how it kind of grew into what it is today. And yeah, so that's how I became a professional tarot reader, and how I, just my thoughts on it and why I'm sharing my journey and my story and my experience. Anyway, I would love to hear your guys' experience with tarot reading. And yeah, take care. Bye.